Hi guys, my name is Charlie Gentry, and I live here in Phoenix, Arizona. My question is for both of you, in regards to the last several years on all the school shootings, and not necessarily the issue on Second Amendment rights and gun owners' rights, but on the issue of where do we stop talking about the guns that were used and start talking about the mental health issues of the kids using the guns.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Again, this is an area where you can see the gaffes and the errors pile up on the left side of the political spectrum. I mean, this is where some of the right-wing caricatures of the New York Times turn out to be true, because I've read editorials where basically everything said about guns and ballistics is wrong, and it's unfortunate, but there are relevant differences between guns, but they just don't tend to be the differences that you hear discussed in the media when people become most alarmed in the aftermath of a school shooting. So when you hear about people who can't tell the difference between an automatic and a semi-automatic gun, right? That's you know the conversation is just not about the actual issue, but. I've moved a little bit on this question of whether we should ban AR-15s, because one, just for purely pragmatic political purposes, I think it would be it comes at very little cost to what I care about to say yes, let's ban AR-15s. Right now, I know a lot of people love their AR-15s and they're fun to shoot, but the reality is that it has such political significance that it's worth considering doing, and then we would find that all of the real work is still ahead of us to deal with the reality of gun violence, because it really is a matter of handguns killing most people most of the time. But there are differences. But I mean, the Vegas shooting was as deadly as it was absolutely because of the guns that man had in the hotel. What's scary about rifles of any sort is their accuracy and lethality at distance. Right, and so most school shootings would still have been just as deadly had they been accomplished with handguns, but these distance shootings are really enabled massively by rifles, and rifles like AR-15s, and so it does matter, but it rarely matters when most people on CNN say it matters, and that's the problem with our conversation.
I think I hate bad arguments. I hate them most when they come from positions or defending positions that I agree with or think are correct. And there's a lot of bad arguments in the talks about guns. Oh, who needs a gun? Well, it's not about need. In this case, it's about preference and about rights. Oh, well, you got to be 21 to buy a beer. Why can't you buy an AR-15 younger? Well, a lot of people think that's a potentially good argument. I think it's awful, because I think you're providing ammunition to the people who don't want to fix the problem. I think you're providing ammunition to the NRA, because it's pretty easy to point out that the prevalence of alcohol and allowing people underage to drink beer has consistently throughout history done more harm than the weapons have. And so I think you're not really building on a good foundation, which is why I get back to what I said earlier, where we don't need to exaggerate, we don't need bad arguments. We need to point out that one is too many from the standpoint of what we should tolerate as parents, as friends and family members, and that what we want is real, sensible action. And if you do this, you don't, at least when groups like the NRA come forward to say that they're trying to take away your guns and blah, 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 that's not the case. Or they're making bad arguments. No, that's not the case. Address what we actually said. And what we've actually said, or what I've actually said, is that I don't like the fact that I live in a world where there's at least some likelihood that somebody's going to get hold of a massive weapon of war and go slaughter a bunch of innocent children. It may be an unfortunate consequence of the way we've traditionally done things, but that doesn't mean that we can't change, and it doesn't mean that change means taking away everybody's rights, engaging in fear-mongering, and supporting good action with bad arguments. It drives me nuts.
And just on quickly on the mental health issue, I think background checks and real licensing and real training required to get a gun is part of the solution. I think I mean, it's crazy to me that you should have to go through some significant steps to get a driver's license, but no such steps to get a gun. So we have to figure out what should be required to get access to that technology. So,
Yeah, maybe just stop letting Walmart sell them and we'll fix the problem.
yeah.